Hello, my name is Katherine, and today we're gonna figure out how to sew pants, starting by ripping apart a pair of old pants that used to fit me well but are now dying, and then making a pair of shorts with a much more forgiving, stretchy fabric, and then finally, with a much prettier fabric, making a full pair of fancy pants. Hopefully, I get much better at this by the time we reach the fancy pants, because I have no idea what I'm doing, and refuse to look up a tutorial until after I at least make the stretchy shorts. Flipping the pair of pants inside out and looking at the crotch, it's going to be the most difficult part because it is where 4 seams and curved corners come to meet at a singular point. I don't know how to do that without creating a hole right where you don't want a hole. Anyways, let's just get to cutting apart this falling apart pair of pants right along the seam. Things to note from the 2 wider back parts of the pants and 2 thinner front part of the pants. The parts of the pants that are the same are not a simple slide transformation of the same shape. They are actually flipped, which is important to note when we start working with fabric that has a right and a wrong side. For the stretchy orange fabric we're starting with, it doesn't have a right side and a wrong side, so I'm not too concerned about it now, but it will come up later. We're going to lay down the front pant piece, add a 1/2 inch seam allowance as we trace around the shape, cut it out, flip it over, and repeat the process. Please pin down your fabric so it doesn't slide around. Don't be dumb like me. Once all the pieces are laid out, it looks incorrect because the back pieces are taller than the front pieces, but that's how they are supposed to be according to the reference, so no need to panic and think you messed up and panic like I did, because it's correct. About the seams, I'm not concerned about the 2 straight lines on the outside of the pants, but rather how the belly button to back of the pant and the knee to knee arc connect. I'm not really sure which one we're supposed to sew first, so we're gonna start with the belly button to back seam and then see if we can manipulate the fabric in a way to allow us to have all the seams on the same side and then go and do the knee to knee arc. Hopefully. Okay, so they work. It's fine. However, because I took pants that originally rested in my hips and extended them upward 2 inches, I didn't then curve them back in for my waist, so they're just straight up and so they don't fit quite right. So I'm just gonna put in a couple of darts here at the waist and then even out the ends of these because they were cut on a diagonal cut fabric, which I didn't realize until now. Hem this, hem that, and try it out again. So give me a moment. Look at that. I did it. It fits. It's hemmed and it fits my waist. The easiness of this is that it's a stretchy fabric, so I don't really need to make a closure for up here. And bada bing, bada boom, you know? Now on to the challenge of the fancy pants, which have no stretch, have a right and a wrong side, and are going to require some sort of closure. I still don't know how to properly do zippers, so it's going to be a few buttons because I recently learned how to use those instead. I also am going to give myself an additional challenge because these shorts turned out pretty well of creating the pants based off of my measurements solely and not just tracing pants that already exist, because this is about learning how to make pants. And I want to be able to do that from scratch. So wish me luck. Let's do this together. After taking the measurement around my waist, hips, butt, thighs, from my belly button to my back, and the vertical distance between those measurements, this is the pattern that I came up with by dividing the top few numbers by 4 and taking the remaining parts, splitting them into front and back measurements, and then dividing those by 2. From the problem intersection down, I will have straight cut pants as long as however wide the fabric from my stash is. I'm used to making skirts and centering my measurements in trapezoids or circles, but with these, the outside is going to be a straight stitch. Unless you're very confident in your math, which I'm not, so we're gonna be adding a 3/4 inch seam allowance because it is always easier to take in than add in. Also, please remember to put markings on the wrong side or what will be the inside of the pants when you make them so that they're not visible to the world when you're finally done. Now we just gotta repeat the same steps from the shorts and hope that it works. Make a front half and a back half of the pants, sewing with the right sides, or what will be the outside of the pants, facing each other. Please tell me that this worked. Hey, I didn't even have to look up a tutorial and I have individually maneuverable legs. 4 things. 1, the waistband, this fabric, not hardy enough to support traditional closures like buttons, hook and eyes, zippers, or anything like that. And I don't know how to use interfacing to technically make it better without making a mess. So instead I cheated in the same way that I did when I was first learning how to sew skirts, which is folding over the top a couple of inches, sewing a channel, and then feeding some stretchy fabric through there to fake an elastic waistband by just a couple inches, enough to get me in and out without having to adjust the pattern. 2, this measurement should either be the same in the front and the back or bigger in the front. If you put it bigger in the back like I did, you're gonna get some awkward bunching right here that makes it look like you're wearing a diaper. I fixed it by going in a bit of a curve into my ridiculous seam allowance around that area. 3, bigger back parts of the pants means that the inseam becomes visible from the front. And finally 4, unfortunately these pants don't have any pockets because I have not experimented enough yet to know how to properly make those without making a mess of the total design, so I just avoided them for this part. Hey, we did it! We made pants, and they turned out clean and pretty, and I didn't make a mess, and I can move. Thank you for being here. Do you know how to make pants? You got any tips, any tricks? Put them down in the comments. I would appreciate it. Are you also learning and made some mistakes that we can learn from as well? Let me know. I'm getting better. I've got a ton of silly ideas that I want to use this knowledge for now.